What's good? We back with your boy CJ Goodfella in the boxing clinic. Y'all know what it is. You know, we back on the boxing wave, man, and we talking about Jarrell Big Baby Cheeseburger Miller still hating on Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, saying that he be the old man of Luis Ortiz, you know, but at the same breath, in the same vein, he picked Luis Ortiz to defeat Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. He also picked Joseph Parker to beat Anthony Joshua. Now, you know, haters gonna hate because Deontay Wilder captivated the Brooklyn crowd, his hometown of Brooklyn, filled the Barclays Center up almost to maximum capacity, and had the highest rating Showtime telecast since he knocked out Bermane Stiverne last November. And Jarrell Fat Baby Cheeseburger Miller can't do that, you know. He ain't fighting nobody, you know. He biting Deontay Wilder's leftover Johan Dunhaps. He barely knocked out Jarrell Washington. I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, he got down to 260 his last fight versus that one guy, whatever it was. Said he going back up to like 290 because he felt weak. So, my point is this. You know, why not him and Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder and, you know, him fight in the summer then? Real shit. Just go ahead and fight. Since you feeling some type of way and you sneak this in Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, Big Baby, let's do it then. We know that Eddie Hearn is usually your name for a fight in New York City in Brooklyn Barclays Center that you know, versus Anthony Joshua. But fuck that. You know, if you beat Deontay Wilder, that Joshua fight is gonna bring you more cash than the Anthony Joshua fight, you know, in the place of that night. They gonna fuck you with that, you know, they gonna fuck you. You're not bringing the title to the table versus Anthony Joshua. Plus, he not fighting in the UK, so they don't know what the numbers are gonna look like. He might be lucky if he makes $1.5 or $1 million fighting Anthony Joshua if he fights him now. You know what I'm saying? If he fights Wilder and he believes he could beat Wilder, I mean, shit, he at least worth 30-35% because he an in-house motherfucker with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. So he might get 35 or 40% versus Anthony Joshua if he could defeat Deontay Wilder. Because we talked about earlier how Eddie Hearn wants to do a double co-feature card with Wilder versus whoever, maybe a Dominic Brazil and Anthony Joshua versus potentially Jarrell Miller to showcase. And, you know, we talked about how Eddie said, oh, I'm scared that Deontay won't win the fight in the 7th round versus Ortiz, da-da-da-da-da. Like, that's the same Ortiz that you guys ducked. It's the same Ortiz that Vladimir Klitschko ducked. So why was you worried about Wilder? Did Wilder say something when he barely, when Anthony Joshua hit the canvas with his legs open like a freak at the trap house on Saturday night, and he looking up and didn't throw a punch for 3 or 4 rounds, and Klitschko could have knocked him out, but let him off the hook? Did anybody complain about that? You know, did anybody? You know, people thought Joshua was done too. Deontay Wilder didn't hit the canvas. You know what I'm saying? It took Anthony Joshua 11 rounds to knock out a guy who's been known to be chinny his whole career in Vladimir Klitschko. A guy has been knocked out in a fraction of the time before that, several times. So, like I'm saying, man, you know, if somehow, you know, Anthony Joshua goes over to the UK and fights somebody else next, which is not out the realm of possibility, he may fight even Puev next, you know, later on in the summer this year, later on in the summer. Why not Jarrell Miller versus Deontay Wilder? You know, forget the HBO, working on HBO and stuff of that nature. Come on over, had Deontay Wilder on Showtime, or, you know, Deontay Wilder can go to HBO. I don't think he had a deal with Showtime. You know, they probably would not like him to do it, but if Showtime put up the cash, why not Deontay Wilder versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller? That makes perfectly good sense, right? Perfect good sense. And that's a fight that they should be looking for, in my opinion. You know, Miller and Wilder had history. If you didn't know, they sparred in the gym, and apparently Deontay Wilder sent Miller to the hospital. Miller said he was dehydrated from jogging outside in the Alabama heat, and, you know, he had a sweat bag on. He was dehydrated. He got in the ring with Wilder, and then he said he got out and feeling woozy, and he had to go to the hospital. His cousin took him to the hospital to get rehydrated. That sounds like a fabricated story right there. You know, True School Sports, I believe my boy BT got that interview from way back when. But at the end of the day, he got fucked up. You know, if you ain't feeling 100% and you knew you was sweating, you knew that you was thirsty and your mouth was dry, why would you hop in the ring with Deontay Wilder anyway? It wasn't shit wrong with him. He already know what's up with Deontay. Deontay will knock his fat ass out. Let's keep it real. You know, he know what's going to happen. You know, Miller just jealous because Deontay Wilder come to Brooklyn, the brother from the South, come to Brooklyn and take over. It's like in a drug game. Ain't nobody from the South coming to New York and taking over. That's the ultimate disrespect to the New York City niggas. They supposed to be the individuals that go down south and take over and sell nicks for 20 and stuff like that, to quote a Biggie rap real quick. You know, and that's that. And now the roles are reversed. And I think that's why a lot of people got a lot of animosity versus Charlo Twins, Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Deontay the Bronze Bomber, Marauder, Rougarou, Regis Progress, all those guys from the South, Omar Figueroa. A lot of people got certain feelings about those brothers because they from the South. And they coming out to the Brooklyn Barclays Center taking over from dudes from the North and the East and the West. Boxing ain't accustomed to that. Yeah, they got a Roy Jones, Antonio Tarver, a couple guys from the South, Winky Wright, guys of that nature. But all these dudes having the South invasion at once, that's something the boxing ain't really seen in quite some time. Or has ever seen in so many boxers from the South getting ready to take over. And when people not used to, or something not the usual, or something that they don't know or ain't never seen before, of course there's going to be some animosity and some resentment towards them. That's what people got to understand, you know. It is what it is. This the new boxing wave coming from the South. And I ain't from the South, but I can respect what they doing, man. And I can respect what they trying to take over this boxing game and the attitude they bringing to the boxing game. I respect that. And Miller, he ain't ready to give up the throne in New York, but go ahead and shoot them hands and beat Deontay Wilder then. Instead of talking about him, you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man.